And go.
Season 3, episode 1 of the Southend Dog Training Podcast.
Yes.
Here we are.
To be fair, it's been like a whole year. It's like we've actually gone back in time a little bit. Filmed it like a proper TV series where there's like a cliffhanger and then you got to wait a fucking year for the next thing.
It was like, are we going to get a new cast? No, we will stick with the old cast, fuck it.
The thing is, I wanted to release a fucking Christmas podcast, but
there was so much
getting in
going
the
on.
way. So what got in the way of that Christmas podcast?
I'm going to say it was the raw food.
The raw food?
Yeah, the raw food came out, and for those that are watching this on YouTube, you can see we've got our new Southend Dog Nutrition raw food. And to be honest with you, that has taken up an absolute fuckload of time.
Yeah.
Getting that right, making sure the ingredients are right. That was a big project.
Yeah. So, let me tell you guys a little bit about raw food. So my raw food journey started many, many years ago with Sammy. For those of you who don't know, we lost Sammy recently to cancer. But Sammy, when I got Sammy, the dog that got me into dog training, it didn't matter what we seemed to feed her, she was just scratching herself silly, the poor dog. She was like making her armpits bleed, her paws were bleeding, and it was horrible. And we was going to the vets as a normal person would, like you're worried about your dog. So they put her on a prescription diet, and that prescription diet would work for a couple of days, and it's always one step forward, two steps backwards, and then we tried everything. So then I started looking at alternative methods.
Yeah.
Right, it's a dog, it's not a human. What can we do here? And I discovered raw food. And I tell you what, ever since then, the first comment people would say when they saw Sammy was how soft her coat was. She went on to have a cast iron stomach where she could literally eat anything.
Well, I always remember the day I met you, actually, when you came to do a one-to-one session with me with Teddy. And straight away you went, "Why? What are you feeding him?" I just went, "Oh, it's kibble, he's slightly reactive and he's a bit, a bit of a dick." And you went, "Yeah, get him off that shit. It's absolutely full of complete..."
Is that what I said?
Yeah, get him off that shit. Look at the first ingredient. It was all like meat derivatives, and at the time I had no idea what any of that meant. I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure, I'll get him on raw food. What the fuck is that?"
No, because this is the thing, right? So a lot of people don't know what to look for when it comes to food and their dogs. Now, I like to use Skittles as an analogy. Skittles, for those of you in England, Skittles are international.
Smarties, blue Smarties, why not that?
Like sweets, little bits of candy loaded with sugar and freaking E numbers, right? So we understand that if we gave kids Skittles every single day for breakfast, lunch and dinner, right, they would have all kinds of problems, one of which would be behavioural problems. Nobody would be surprised if little Jimmy was fucking bouncing off the walls because all he eats is Skittles.
Yeah.
But we don't look at that when it comes to pet food. Now, this isn't a podcast to promote raw food. Like I said, I'm for the diet that agrees with your dog.
Yeah.
But when you look at raw food, many people don't realise that the ingredients tell you all you need to know. That first ingredient, when you look at the back of a bag of biscuits or a bag of tin, if that first ingredient says cereal, it's fucking garbage. Like, it's like giving your dog fucking M&Ms every single day, right? And then if you look at the dog's behaviour, the problems that you're having, a lot of dogs that are fed, and I'm not going to name any bad brands, but one that comes to mind is multicoloured. You see it all over the television, begins with a B, ends in an S. And literally
like Barkers or something.
Yes, like Barkers.
Okay, yeah, I know that. Yeah, sure.
Like Bakers, not Bakers.
Yeah, not Bakers.
But the first ingredient is cereal. Now, when I get called to a house and I deal with a dog that's hyperactive, one of the first things I talk about is diet.
Yeah.
Because with kids, we seem to know, right? Well, little Jimmy's had fucking sugar, so of course he's struggling to settle down. But with the dog, I'm like, right, what are you feeding your dog? And then I look at the ingredients, cereal, right? So it's garbage, because that first ingredient makes up the main bulk of the food. So the first ingredient must be a meat, and not meat derivatives, a proper meat. So it brings us on to the raw food. What is in the raw food? Why do I stand behind it? And guys, for me, I feed my own personal dogs this. My personal dog, actually. I keep talking like I've got loads, but
they're always there.
They're always there in spirit, right?
Yeah.
But the first ingredient of this is chicken with bone. 75%. So 75% of this is chicken with bone. Then you got carrots in it. Then you got 5% beef tripe, beef offal, You've got butternut squash, green vegetables, blueberry kelp, salmon oil, wheatgrass. It's everything that is beneficial to a dog with nothing that's not.
It actually meets FEDIAF guidelines. And for those that are going to moan about it's not 80-10-10, that's not actually quite right. 80-10-10 isn't everything a dog should have. There's the other bits, and Haley, our diet nutritionist, will be able to quote me on this, but I think it was like blueberries or something like that. There's a few bits that are missing, which make ours a full, complete meal, as opposed to an 80-10-10 diet.
So when it comes to raw food, right, one of the benefits that you can see from feeding raw food is it can completely help your dog calm down. Now, the diet alone isn't going to fix your behavioural problems. You've got a hyperactive spaniel and you're not walking it, yeah, it doesn't matter what fucking diet you feed it, it's still going to be bouncing off the bloody walls, right? But if you're watching this or listening to this, right, and you've got a hyperactive dog, maybe look at the diet you're giving it. As a general rule of thumb, if the first ingredient is cereal, it's crap. If the first ingredient is meat derivatives, it's generally crap. If it's multicoloured, it's generally crap, right? So there are some really, really decent kibbles out there. Amongst our online training group, Millie's Wolf Heart is one that seems to come up time and time again. That seems to be a fan favourite.
There is an alternative to raw as well, which is we've got coming out soon, which is cold pressed raw food. It's basically raw food compressed down.
A bit like kibble.
Yeah, a bit like kibble,
but
but it doesn't contain all the cereal and shit. It's just basically raw food compressed down. But we are turning this into a bit of a chat about raw food. Should we go back to where we left it off?
No, before we do, let's finish it, because we've spoken about raw food and things like that, but what other benefits are there to raw feeding a dog, for example? So another common problem that I see a lot of is dogs having accidents in the house, bad breath, bad dental care, farting a lot, shitting 100 times a day. That was the other thing, right? So
that's a big one.
My Sammy, okay, so not only was she scratching herself silly, she also, I'd wake up every morning to a fucking poo. Every fucking morning. Didn't matter if I took her out, every morning to a poo. When I stopped waking up to a poo is when I switched her to raw food. Because again, it's like me. So I'm allergic to life, right? If I have a fucking milkshake, I'm going to run to the toilet. Right, it's one of those things.
Can you tell these aren't scripted?
Yeah. And it can happen 5 minutes after the milkshake or an hour after it. And it's the same with dogs. If your dog's on a diet that doesn't agree with them, they're going to need to drink more water. They're going to need to toilet more frequently. And sometimes they can't control that properly. So again, if you're having accidents in the house, if your dog's excessively drinking, if your dog has allergies, look to put your dog on a raw food diet. It's an absolute game changer. Look for something like the Southend Dog Training one, which is a complete raw food. Yeah,
it's a complete meal. That's what it is. There is nothing to add. There's no sort of salmon oil, hemp oil, or anything like that to add. It has everything in it that your dog needs to be a nutritionally beneficial diet, I think is the correct terminology.
Yes.
So yeah, our last podcast, when I think it was December 21, you know, just over a year ago did we last release an episode, which I think was the Trustpilot review one, if I'm right. Was it a year review?
Yes.
Yeah.
All fun and games, upsetting people.
God, look, we've moved on a lot from there, haven't we? I mean, as a business, as a company, as people, how much has changed is unbelievable. I mean, at the moment, we're in our recording studio, which...
It's still a work in progress.
Yeah, which is a work in progress.
But we're not in your backyard anymore. We're not in your backyard. We've got this whole training centre now. Like, I mean, we've got a fully enclosed field that the trainers can train in and do group classes. We've got the Menage, which can hold group classes.
Yeah, we've got the offices here. We've got a caretaker on site. I think there's 21 staff now at Southend Dog Training employees as it stands at the moment.
And a groomer. And grooming, again, it's one of those things. So I'm going to be doing a video on this separately very, very soon. But grooming is another hot topic I want to talk about, because it's something that I was always aware of, and I have been asked to go to groomers with clients to help with the dog, and same as with vets. And that is something that we offer as a service, is you can book a one-to-one, but you can do it for your vet visits, or you can do it for your grooming appointments if your dog struggles. But I've got a camera in my office that overlooks the entire facility, right? So, and I regularly am watching Leanne, our groomer, in the grooming centre. But what I'm noticing is, and it's because we work with those dogs that have been kicked out of other groomers in a sense, but what I'm noticing a lot of is the sheer volume of just how stressed dogs are when it comes to grooming. And it really doesn't have to be.
No.
And this ties me into a cheeky fucking plug, but also back to it. How to raise the perfect dog.
When did that come out, Adam?
That come out today, Evan.
That's amazing.
I know.
But you know what, jokes aside, we have worked on this now for about 18 months. The hurdles we've jumped through, the shit we've gone through to get this book out is right. If we was filming a TV series or something like that, we could film it in a day, maybe edit it in a week, and later that week it's out on the internet. So it's on YouTube. It's maybe broadcast on TV, which is another thing coming. But you know that's fine. We can do that quite quickly. A book, fuck me, does that take a long time? And I bet you there's mistakes in it. I mean, it's got to be.
There is a mistake in it.
Yeah, well, we know that. In revision 1, he found a mistake.
Yeah.
But
keep talking. Keep talking to these guys, because I'm trying to find the bit in this book that is going to help me and tie me back to exactly what I was talking about in a second.
Well, when we got this...
Or is that the mistake that I don't actually know?
There's probably more than one. But we got signed for this book deal. It was with one of the UK's largest publishers. And there's actually a bit of a cancel culture going on. It's quite fun. It was funny to me and Adam, but we wrote the whole book. We had a ghostwriter help us write the book, as you do when writing a book. They helped us with the layout, the structure and everything like that. We got all the photos done. They paid for the lot. They paid for advance royalties, and then they got an email, and the email was so stupid. It was comical, but it pretty much said Southend dog trainers are terrible dog trainers. You shouldn't use them. And they panicked. And they said, we actually don't want to publish your book, but you can have it, you can do what you want with it, you can self-publish it, we don't want any money back, we don't want any rights to the book, it's yours, publish it. And it was so funny because they actually published another dog trainer, and it's because they labelled us as a balanced dog trainers, although we don't really see ourselves as balanced, more as lean dog trainers.
Yeah, it's the least invasive method applicable. There we go. So the contents help me, I should have looked at that.
There you go.
But grooming, so obviously this is how to raise a perfect dog, everything from puppyhood to adolescence, right?
And beyond.
Beyond. But there is a section dedicated to grooming in this. Grooming is an essential part of training your puppy, and there are no exceptions. This is not about putting the hair in a bow or giving them fluffy ankles. It's about giving your puppy the basic care and maintenance they need. Now that's a little extra, and it goes into more and a checklist for grooming, what you should be working on. But back to what I was saying, obviously the grooming centre's open, and I'm seeing Leanne grooming dogs, and I'm always on hand to help her with those difficult ones, right? But I'm noticing just how many dogs are just terrified of grooming, whether it be a simple brush, whether it be checking their paws, checking their ears.
Getting in the bath, that's the worst one.
But as this book says, grooming isn't about fucking pampered haircuts, bows and fucking fancy cuts. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, guys. So if you've got a Pomeranian and you give it a little lion, there's nothing wrong with that, right? There isn't. But the reality is, grooming is a basic requirement, like feeding, like giving your dog water, like exercise. It's a basic fucking requirement. But so many people don't do it, yeah? Things like brushing your dog every single day. Things like checking their paws.
Checking their ears.
Checking their coat all over. So one of the things, particularly in the summer, that I do is I always brush my dog down after a walk, and I always run my hand through their coat to check for any ticks or anything like that. Now while you're doing it as well, it's a good opportunity to bond with your dog, and you can check for any abnormalities there, any lumps, any bumps, any cuts. Yeah, but certain dogs do need more grooming. I mean, how much grooming does Leo really get?
Oh, doesn't fucking need anything.
No, Leo's a Rottweiler that occasionally has his nails done and a fucking bath, but that's it. Whereas something like a cockapoo would require much more grooming. But the reality is, basic grooming starts at home. We need to be helping the groomers. We don't just go, oh, my dog's now a fucking problem, let's palm it off on the groomers. By all means, if you want to do that, we'll help you bring the dog to our groomer. But the reality is, it starts with a simple brush. Taking your time, brush, reward, brush, reward, brush, reward. Checking those ears, checking those paws, checking those tails, and things like that. So the puppy book goes in about grooming. There's a checklist of things to do. But also, the grooming centre opened, which is massive.
Again, that was all last year. That's why we didn't do a podcast. We was just constant, flat out. Was in building offices, building a grooming room, organising it, making sure all the systems were in place. But just circling back around, because I just wanted to finish the story of why the book was cancelled. It was cancelled essentially. But basically, they got worried about what would you call it? It's a judgment by public or something, isn't it? There was a court of public hearing on us, so to speak, where they were worried about a public onslaught and they didn't want the potential for bad press, which it was laughable.
The reality is it all stems from one training organisation, and this organisation is notorious for having trainers that go out, that medicate dogs and have dogs put to sleep in the name of dog training. Now, I don't want this podcast to be about speaking about other trainers. Like I said, as a company, as a movement, and something that I preach about a lot is coming away from that. Every single day I post stuff on Instagram, success stories. Recently, one that I've been posting a lot about is dog attacks, because that's something that's happening more and more, and we'll touch upon that in a minute. But always share, because I get personal DMs on Instagram with somebody going, "Oh my God, so thankful that I saw your video. Normally I would have panicked, but a dog come charging over to me, and I put my dog behind me, and I stood in front of it and shouted sit like your video said, and the dog actually did it, or the dog looked confused and ran away."
You know, that blows my mind, because I see those messages all, and I think it's so simple. Just shout sit, and the dog sits, and I'm like, that's incredible, right? Such a simple thing.
It is, but the reality is, you think, right, what was one of the first things you taught Leo?
Sit.
Yeah, it's one of the first things that everybody teaches their dog is sit. It's either the first or second thing, really, right? And then let's think about when you use sit. Sit before dinner, sit before going for a walk, sit at the road, sit before putting the lead on, right? It's something that becomes second nature. So even if the dog doesn't know sit means sit or has a solid sit stay, the chances are when you go sit, the dog's going to go, okay. Or it's going to be so fucking confused that you've asked it to do it.
Yeah, put it away.
And it's going to run away. And it works. And I share these success stories. I do, over and over again.
It's proof, isn't it? It's proof in the pudding. It's just reiterating what we do works. People all around the world, literally doesn't matter where you are, they take our advice and they go, "Fuck me, that works." And yeah, it does.
Well, I completely forgot my chain of thought.
Yeah, I noticed that as I was talking to you. The scene was blank. Guys, when we say they're not scripted, they really are. We didn't even discuss what we was going to talk about. It was like, we're going to do a podcast today.
No, but we are. But I completely forgot. Hopefully I'll circle back to it in a minute. But what was you talking about?
Let's carry on. So anyway, I think it was around February 2022 did we get our training centre. Now, again, when we talk about battles, the battles we have, took 2 years to find somewhere that would rent to us.
Oh, there we go. There we go. I figured it out. Yeah, that happens. So we were talking about obviously the book being cancelled, and it's like this freaking one specific organisation that I won't name, and these trainers are notorious for medicating dogs and having them put to sleep because they won't.
Doesn't fit the narrative.
No. And I share these on my stories, the success that people have from following our free content. But I often will always put, if the trainers spent more time and effort in providing value to their audience than slagging off others, because that is something that has just got out of hand now. It's like, even look at Graham Hall, dogs behaving badly. Love him or hate him. Again, I'm not going to speak ill of him. I'm not going to give you my opinion on him. Love him or hate him. Every single time there's a new series, there's a petition to get him off.
I looked at the, so Channel 5 were running an advert for him on Facebook. Every comment on there was absolutely awful training. It shouldn't be. I just thought, fuck me, it was so bad.
Yeah, but it is. And then you go and spend some time just looking at other trainers' posts on social media, and you will often find that it's somebody either bashing a certain methodology, bashing a certain trainer, right? And I just think it's just got out of hand. And then I take great pride in this, I really, really do, that we don't get involved in this drama. And I believe it's a huge key to our success, because I had a client before this podcast, and I was just talking to her, and I said, I want, because she's been following me for over a year, right? And people thought she was mad. She's come from Hull, right? She travelled all the way down from Hull with a Cocker Spaniel that's nervous of traffic, right? And she was telling her friends, and they're like, "Why are you travelling that far to come and see?" And it's because she's like, "I followed him for a year. I've never had another trainer and everything, but they're invested in this." And I think how many people are invested in what we do, and I think it's because of our social media. It's because of how transparent we are. We'll post a video of a nervous dog, and I'm going to post a video of the dog. It was nervous of traffic. Now, of course, when you post it, somebody's going to go, oh my God, that dog's terrified. And I'm like, well, no shit. That's why it's fucking here.
It's terrified of traffic.
Yeah? If it wasn't terrified of traffic, right, we wouldn't be doing a fucking nervous of traffic video. What do you think? I'd just go like that and the dog goes, yeah, I love traffic. Like, it doesn't, right? But it's the reason she's so invested in us, the reason she's willing to travel from home, is because we are transparent. It's because we put out there bits of advice. Everything I post on my page, I want to provide value to the audience, those of you listening. Every tip, every advice, every joke, everything I do, I want it to provide value to that audience. And then I go on other trainers' page, I'm like, well, what value are you providing? Yeah. And then you see a lot of them bitching. So a lot of them didn't like the success of Southend dog training during lockdown, right? But I'm like, but what are you doing about it? Yeah? The thing is...
Well, they keep talking about it.
Yeah.
Which just makes it...
But you can either sit there and you can go, I want Graham Hall off TV, or I don't want Southend dog training to do the book. Guess what? The book's fucking here. Right? I don't want... Yeah? It was coming. You can't stop it. Right? And the reality is, you have those people. But I think if you put that much effort into actually producing content to help your audience, that would help massively.
Yeah.
Because again, it's 2023, so we're posting videos on a daily basis. We're posting, well, we've got a book in case you missed it. And literally, we're doing podcasts. Yeah. There's so much that we're doing, and it's all in the process of helping dogs. And then you look at some of these social media, and it's just them bitching, and I think it's so sad. And we need to band together, because right now, one of the hot topics to talk about is out of control dogs. Yeah, I mean, there was recently in the newspaper that dog walker. What was it, 6 or 7 dogs, right? And it's tragic. It's tragic. The week before that, there was some XL bully attack, and I believe that literally there have been more fatalities recently than there has been in the entire like fucking 5 years or so of dogs. I don't have actual hard statistics on it, but every day. Right, and it's not isolated to certain breeds. We don't want to sit here and go, it's the XL bully, because it's not. Right, it's not a breed-specific thing, because I was sent a video on Instagram of a greyhound, which is, by the way, one of my favourite breeds of dog, and one of the dogs that I recommend for elderly people. I was sent a video of a greyhound with a cockapoo in its mouth, and the reality is the owner of the greyhound has got hold of the dog by the collar. I'm thinking, twist, fuck's sake, twist. But he's just pulling up on the collar, which is a normal collar, so it's not choking the dog out in the slightest. So all it did was let the greyhound grip, and I was like, so you can't even say it's the XL bully, you can't even say that. The dog walker, they believe that the dogs involved were Leonbergers and Dachshunds, right? So it's not that, but there is a major issue right now. So when I just think it's really sad when I see people in this cancel culture nature trying so hard and obsessing with what other people are doing versus using their platforms for good. Because the content we are posting is literally saving lives, right? And I do, and I share it on Instagram every single day. But I also notice through our following on Instagram that we are getting is worldwide, so it's not just in England, it's not central London, not just in the capital, it's in England, it's in Scotland, it's in fucking France, Australia, it's happening all over the place. America is another big place right now. So this is what I think that we need to be focusing on, because there is a big problem. So instead of sitting there going, I don't like this tool, I don't like this method, I don't like this person's face, instead of doing that, we need to be focusing on using that, banding together, and helping each other. What else has happened? I want to speak of Instagram. What happened on Instagram?
Oh, blue tick.
Blue tick.
And on Facebook.
Blue tick. Blue tick on Facebook, blue tick on Instagram.
And on Twitter, but that was cheating.
Do you know what, right? I felt like I could retire. When I got that blue tick, right, I was so fucking happy, right? A lot of people might not realise what it means to me, but I have been working on Instagram. You tell them what I like on Instagram.
It's the dedication. Like, obviously, guys, we post 2 or 3 videos a day on Instagram. You know, a couple on Facebook, a couple on. To sit there and put those videos together, because we have to make them within a minute most of the time and things like that. Then we have to make sure the information's relevant and actually helpful. It's not like we just walk outside, grab the camera phone, take a quick minute, and then just upload it. Fuck mate, we have to make sure it's relevant to what's going on.
Well, yeah, so, but Instagram is my baby, so not many people realise this, right? I can't man all my social medias. It's impossible. So when you message the Facebook page,
My wife.
it's Every's wife, right? The videos that are posted on Facebook, he selects them. Granted, a lot of them he steals from me, but he selects them. So Ev is on Facebook, right? TikTok, Ben, the camera guy, again because he's filming it, he puts together little clips and he posts those on TikTok. Instagram though, what am I like with Instagram?
Oh no, it's yours.
Yeah.
So the book came out last night about 10:30. I texted Adam and I was like, bugger, he's asleep. And I was like, I need to post this on Instagram. But I was like, I can't, he'll go mental.
Don't touch my fucking Instagram! Because I don't know why, but I have a really real soft spot for Instagram.
Yeah.
It's massive, and it's actually taken over now. So, like I said, I'm not hating on other social media apps, but TikTok is what catastrophically exploded. But TikTok has been it's gone really, really downhill, and I don't think it's the best platform in the world for dog training because
it's one of the worst.
What works on TikTok doesn't necessarily work so much for dog trainers anymore. So. With TikTok, they are the fun police and they err on the side of controversy. So I've started doing a lot of react videos, not reacting to other trainers because I refuse to do that. I get sent videos every single day of other trainers going, oh, what do you think of this method? Can you do a react video on this? I'm like, no, because that's another trainer, that's somebody else's business. But I focus on people doing dumb shit with animals, like purposely scaring the shit out of animals, or parents that are putting their children in danger by letting them climb all over the dogs. And I'm trying to do it with a sense of professionalism in a sense. I'm not trying to hate on them, this person needs his fucking bollocks cutting off or things like literally trying to do it
fair, professional.
Right, and so I've lost my train of thought again.
This is going really well today. Right, so you're talking about your React videos and that you're being professional.
Oh yes, so TikTok, thank you. This is why we work well.
It is.
So, but with TikTok, if you try to do a video like that on TikTok, you always get a community violation for harassment and bullying, right? So the video of a child smacking a dog with a bottle, that goes viral.
Oh, that's fine, yeah.
Right?
As long as it's on TikTok.
And if you report that as abusive video or whatever, graphic and violent content, whatever you want to dress it up, if you report that, it's fine. If you speak out about it, and TikTok is very much a cancel culture right now, whereas over on Instagram, you have more freedom of speech, so you can talk about this stuff in an educational light.
Yeah.
Which brings me on to, there are so many videos right now, ladies and gentlemen, of people messing with dogs for their own entertainment. Now, ask anybody that calls themselves an animal lover, should animals be in the circus? Should animals be in the circus?
No, I don't think so. In fact, I don't even like zoos, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
But that's a personal thing.
Okay.
I like going to the zoo.
I'm not even touching this one, but I'm not.
You asked. You didn't prep me for this question. I've been good at this answer.
I'm not touching this.
But hold on then. If I don't like the zoo, then I should have a fucking bird. I've got an African grey. I keep that in a cage. Obviously, he's let out every day. But so fuck me. We can't talk about that.
But any person with a right mind would tell you that having the treatment of fucking circus animals, the way animals were treated in the circus, that's why in England now you don't see it. Like I take my kids to the circus every year, right? And there's no animals there. It's acrobats, it's stunts, it's fun, right? But there's no animals there, right? Because they do not belong in the circus. Now those at home that teach their dogs tricks, I'm not attacking you here, right? If you want it, that's bonding, teaching your dog sit pretty, roll over, play dead. These are tricks, it's not a circus animal. Go on Britain's Got Talent to showcase the work you and your dog have relationship, right? Yeah, that isn't it. But having an animal there for fucking pure entertainment purposes, to purposely stress that dog out or terrify that dog, is not okay. Now, we know this, and we've outlawed it from the fucking circus. I can't speak for other countries, but we don't have animals in circuses.
Is it actually outlawed, or is it just we just don't do it?
We don't, as far as I'm aware, but we don't.
Yeah.
Whether it's outlawed or not, I don't know, right? It should be. If it's not, it should be.
I was like, oh, in fact, I don't know.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But the reality is, right, so it has been outlawed, right? As far as I'm aware.
In my head.
In my head, it's outlawed.
Yeah, that's it.
Right.
That makes it possible.
Yeah.
Fact.
So, but we are actually using dogs and animals as circus animals for our own entertainment to produce viral videos. 2 videos I reacted to this week on my Instagram. One was with a Staffy cross, not a Staffy cross, sorry, a Pitbull mix or a Bully Breed mutt. Right? It was titled, I'd never have a pit bull, they're so vicious. And it's meant to be a video to demonstrate that they're big fucking wussies, right? Now, 2 things wrong. One, it wasn't a fucking pit bull, and I really wish people would stop doing it with the American pit bull and with the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, right? Over here, everything with a block-shaped fucking head is called a fucking Staffy, right? So Staffies get a bad reputation for any incident involving a Bully Breed mutt. And it happens the same with pit bulls in America.
Yeah.
Any dog with a block-shaped head, right, that's muscular, is classed as a pit bull, right? So pit bulls, the true pit bull, the true American pit bull terrier, gets the fucking blame for all of this shit, right? So the first problem there was he's trying to prove that pit bulls are not fucking vicious and they're actually big wussies, but it's not even a fucking proper pit bull, right? It's a fucking pit bull mix or a fucking Bully Breed mutt, right? So there's problem number 1. Problem number 2, in a bid to show that the dogs are fucking wussies, he purposely scared the fucking shit out of the dog, and it nearly ran through a pane of glass, right? Then the next day I opened my DMs, boom, Chihuahua this time, right? And I don't discriminate, I'll react on anything, right? So, Chihuahua, sitting there, all fine, and some dude, rah, scares the fucking bejesus out of it. Now, the difference with this one is the Chihuahua goes for the bloke, and all you can hear is laughing. But I'm thinking, why? And I show in the video Clive down, sleeping, chilling, and I'm like, I can't think of anything worse than doing it. But it's getting...
if someone wakes me up...
But it's getting views, and people are doing it. So what we've done is we've removed animals from the circus, right? And we put them on fucking social media. We just get a camera out and it's absolutely fine, right? And it's got to stop. So that is something that I'm focusing on a lot right now is child safety, is basic fucking dog safety, right? Long gone are the days. I don't remember the last time somebody just took their dog to a beach, threw a fucking ball around and filmed that. But this is why I'm starting to, yeah, but this is why I'm starting to come away from TikTok, because TikTok are massively favouring that. Yeah, so the app that did put us on the map, which will always have a soft spot in my heart, it has changed so much that videos like that are going viral, and because they are pushing content like that, more and more people are imitating it. And those that speak out on that app or have any sort of voice on that app are punished for it. In what fucking logical world is it? And I'd understand if I go, right, that person needs to have his fucking, needs to be hung, drawn and quartered, whatever. Hung, drawn and quartered?
I'm going to go with the first one. I don't actually know.
Alright, hung, drawn and quartered. Maybe if you're watching this on fucking YouTube or something.
So someone, let us know in the comments below.
Hung, drawn and quartered, I don't know. Right? But, yeah, if you make a direct personal attack, yeah, then you can be classed as harassment and bullying. But when I start with no hate intended here, and then provide an educational reason as to why this is dangerous, why it's dangerous, and the fallout of scaring the shit out of the dog, right? For those of you that don't know what fallout is basically when something happens to the dog and a new behaviour, an unwanted behaviour develops as a result, okay? So for example, dog has a piss on the floor, you take that dog, you rub its nose in the piss, what did you do, right? The fallout from that could be that the dog actually has more accidents because it's afraid to go to the toilet now in front of you, so it has to wait for you to be out of sight to actually go to the toilet. Yeah, so the fallout of basically rubbing its dog's nose in its own piss is you can actually create a dog to have more accidents and be afraid to go to the toilet.
Yeah, go on.
The fallout to purposely scaring the shit out of your dog Yeah, is you can make it reactive towards people, jumpy, nervous, on edge.
Well, it's the same reason we don't use water as punishment.
Yes, but that great example, dude. Yeah, the why we don't use water as punishment. And I actually shared a React video to that. I don't know if you saw it, but fucking again, innocent animal that trusts its owner. Water bowl. They put sparkling water in.
I did see that.
Yeah, they put sparkling water in the bowl. Dog goes over to it, thinking it's fucking water from the owner that it is with, that it fucking trusts, and starts drinking it. And of course, the reaction, the dog freaked out because it's sparkling water.
Yeah.
Now, the fallout to that is the dog could be afraid to drink in front of the owner. The dog could be afraid to drink water, which is built into the survival of the dog, right?
It's going to be a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that.
Yeah, or it could develop a fear of the fucking shiny bowls and not trust anything you fucking put down from it going forward.
Yeah.
Right, so this is why I focus so much on Instagram now, because you can speak about this, you can educate people on what not to do and things like that, because the reality is right now, there is a massive, massive problem. It is every fucking day, mate, and it's not just one video. I'm getting hundreds of videos in my fucking messages because I have now somehow become the voice of the person that fucking speaks out about this.
Which brings me on to a little moaning point. If you guys need us, please message either email us or call the office. Adam's DMs, my DMs on Facebook, comments, we don't get to see them all. We probably see about 5% of them. We absolutely love the love, but we can't keep up. We cannot keep up. So yeah, make sure you call the office if you need us.
No, it's great. We are barreling down on 1 million on Instagram.
Yeah, we're close to the million there. We're close to 750,000 on Facebook as well. So it's really good, guys. We're loving the direction the company's going and everything like that. But yeah, trying to keep up with demand and everything is. I mean, Jesus, you know, if you're on a one-to-one, bear in mind it's January at the moment. Adam's booked up until I think it's end of June at the minute for one-to-ones.
I don't know. I was talking to someone this morning, and again, it's one of those moments where you know you've really sort of come far in the industry now. When somebody was asking about have we got a trainer in Scotland? I'm like, yes, we do. So one, that's massive, right? Because a lot of people still don't know that we have a trainer in Scotland. And the mistake this gentleman made, and he's a lovely guy, right? He messaged Kim, our Scottish trainer, directly, and didn't get a response back. And I said, and he asked if Kim could call her, and I said, my trainers don't call people and book the jobs in. I said, we have a booking team to do that. It's so everything goes through one portal. So to book in, you can go onto the website, you can click on one-to-one, and you can select your day, select your trainer, and pay your deposit, and it's done. Or if you need a home visit, or you want to discuss your options, there's a call button which puts you straight through to the office, and then what happens is then if you then do book in, then that's manually inputted into the computer, so everything goes through one channel. The trainers don't actually book in their own work.
No, they're too busy training dogs.
Yeah.
The reality is, I mean, Lee quite often is on 5 jobs a day.
Well, it was in Bristol yesterday.
Yeah.
I think it was Bristol yesterday.
Yeah, it is. It's insane. No, you know, I mean, going right on through business and things, we had to close our booking system because we used to do it, fill out a request a visit form, and then we'll call you back. We got to over 2,000 pending forms, which just absolutely snowed under. So that's when we changed it to just book online, but if you need a home visit, you have to call us. Yeah, it's so difficult. It's difficult to know what's best.
It is a catch-22, right? Because when you take that booking form off, right, there's part of you that goes, do you know what, right? There's 2,000 people waiting for a fucking call. That's fucking mental.
They were waiting 6 weeks and they were fine with it.
2,000 people waiting for a callback.
I was appalled by it, but we couldn't do anything because we couldn't.
But it's one of those good bad problems to have. But then you get anxiety because you're like, there's 2,000 people, right? That's not even including the ones that are booking in every single day. All the trainers' diaries are booked up and things like that. And when you got that, but then you start to get people complaining, and I can understand it, or going elsewhere by the time they do get a call back. So we had to take that request a booking form off the website.
Yeah, we are hoping to add it back soon, but we're still catching up. We still haven't cleared those 2,000, and that was 10 weeks ago now. Yeah, you know, that's
down to 100, I think.
Down to 100, yeah, but we've still got more to go.
Down to 100.
So yeah, that's sort of well with it. So yeah, we've got our own training centre now, which I say is awesome. We've got our own groomers, we've got our own dog food, we've got our own kibble. coming out. Well, I say it's not Kibble, it's
Cold Press.
Yeah.
Got
our book. Yeah.
Blue Tick on Instagram.
Blue Tick on Facebook. We've got each other.
Blue Tick on Facebook. We have got each other. We've got 2 cameramen now, which means more content coming. I think this is the first time that the podcast has been filmed with 3 cameras. So we are playing around with that now. There's a lot more experimentation. Everything we're trying to do is just to help you guys.
It is. Well, it's to provide better feedback, more entertainment for you know, content and things like that. Because we love being involved with everyone. That's all. I don't know. We just love producing content, don't we?
Yeah. No. I live for this shit, basically. Like, literally, put a camera in front of me and give me a fucking topic to talk about, and we'll talk. And I want to select a topic, and I want to use it really to sum up this and give you guys some valuable information to go away with. So, as we mentioned earlier in this podcast, there are more and more dog attacks occurring, whether it's on people, whether it's on other dogs. Dog and dog attacks are the most common, and that's often when somebody will get hurt in the process trying to stop it. Right? Now, the number 1 rule is please keep your fucking dog on a lead if it's got no recall, right? And we do talk about it in this book, we do. Right, it's in the common mistakes people make with their dog section, is letting the dog off the lead before it's ready. Now let me tell you, let me get really serious with you guys for a second. Let me tell you what happens if you unclip that lead and your dog's not ready to be off lead. It's going to run over to the wrong dog. Now, just because your dog's friendly, if you're shouting out, it's okay, he's friendly, every time your dog's running over to another dog, you're saying that because you can't stop your dog running over to another dog. And that is totally unacceptable for 2 reasons. 1, that person might not want your dog near them. Yeah? That dog might present as fine until your ill-mannered dog runs over to it. That dog could be a service dog designed to save the life of the handler that you are now jeopardising. Right? You simply don't know. That dog could have just been recovering from an operation and slowly easing back into things. The reality is you just don't know. Right? You haven't asked that owner and you can't stop it. And if you can't stop it, it's going to keep happening and happening and happening until the worst happens. Nearly every dog that gets attacked ends up with reactivity issues towards other dogs, and it started as a friendly dog. It's okay, it's friendly. It's not an excuse. It's not, right? So keep that dog on the lead. Having your dog on the lead doesn't mean that dog can't run, doesn't mean that dog can't have fun. If you've got a Vizsla, a Springer Spaniel, something like that, and you want it to run, 30-foot lead, flirt pole, off you go, right? That dog can still run. That lead doesn't restrict the freedom. It heightens?
Extends?
Extends?
Embroads is a nice word.
Embroads.
I like that. I don't think it's a word, but I like it. We're going to go with it.
Embroad.
It's like embracing the embroading.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll do.
I don't think that is a word. Embroiding's like something.
No, that's embroiding, but embroading is to, those who can't see us, we're sort of embroiding.
Broadens.
Right. Anyway.
It allows you to safely give the dog more freedom and teach the dog how to behave and everything like that. Now, if we could just stop letting dogs off the lead without recall, right, there'll be far fewer incidents happening.
Yeah.
Right? And it's about being safe. Now, as much as I sing and shout and bitch and moan about this, right, at some point you're going to be out with your dog and the dog's going to run over to you. Ever been out with your dog and the dog run over to you?
Yeah, loads.
Yeah. Ask anyone. Ask Linda. Ask Pete. Ask Mike.
Ask
right?
Karen.
Ask who?
Karen.
Ask Karen. We've got a Karen on staff now.
She's the one that if you're on Facebook and you give us a shitty comment, she comes after you.
Yeah, we get Karen to respond to the negative comments. Sorry, Karen. Welcome to the team. So at some point you are going to have a dog run over to you. Now here's the other flip side of it, because people will let their dogs off the lead and shout out, it's okay, it's friendly. A dog running over to you, if your dog has a bad experience as a result, your dog can lose trust in you and can equally become reactive, okay? Or fearful, or any sense of the word towards dogs, right? So when you're out with your dog, you are there as their protector, as their guider, and again we talk about it in the book, right? But here's what to do. We spoke about it on some of the DMs I get, and you picked up on it, you know exactly what it is. Right, what to do if an off-lead dog comes running over to you?
Get your dog behind you.
Yes.
Get in
sit or a down.
Yeah.
Now, sit down means down, they help massively, right? Yeah. Why should you put your dog behind you?
So you can protect it.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah. What else can the audience do, Ev?
Shout over to the other dog and shout, sit. Go on, oh, fucking hell, I'm not very good at this.
You're doing alright.
Well, that's it, yeah. Well, yeah, I'd shout sit as loud as you can, get your dog behind you, put them in a sit, shout sit to the other dog.
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally that, right? You build a bubble around your dog, right? And you stamp your foot, sit, no, go, away. I don't care. Sing the fucking alphabet song if you want, it doesn't matter. Just mean it with authority. But sit normally works well because nearly every dog on the planet knows sit, right? Now, if that doesn't work and the dog keeps coming forward, your dog's behind you, you build that barrier, kick your leg out. I'm not advocating for kicking the dog, but you can there's a difference between using your leg to push something away and full-blown kicking the dog, right? So do that, or physically take hold of the dog. Now here's where people go, but what if I get bit? How do you know that dog's not going to turn around and bite you? You don't know that. No. You simply don't. But if it means your dog, my dog, or the people watching at home, their dog doesn't get trampled on, doesn't get attacked, right? I would take that hit for my dog every single time, right? It's the same as if somebody was going to hit my wife, I'd rather stand in front of it. If someone's going to hit my children, I'd rather stand in front of it. If someone's going to hurt my dog, I'd rather stand in front of it. That's your role as protector.
Yeah.
Now, if you can't get the dog to sit behind you because it's reactive, then you may want to rethink about some of the places that you're going at this moment in time, because again, taking your dog to the same place every single time and having negative experiences every single time is not helping you or your dog. There are places you can go that are much quieter, and yes, you do have the right to use this like anyone else, but if your dog is reacting to in that same environment every single day because of off-lead dogs, and you're not quite at that stage where you can pop your dog in a sit-stay or a downstay behind you and take hold of that dog, you're not really ready to be in that environment, so you're not doing your part in helping your dog. But all of this can easily be avoided by stop saying it's okay, he's friendly, like that's a fucking excuse, and keeping your dog on a lead unless it's got a bomb-proof recall.
You know there's a much more fun way as well to stopping an off-lead dog coming running over to you.
Go on in.
Your dog has to have a solid sit or down, it only works then. So you get your dog in a solid sit or down, pop them behind you, as soon as the other dog starts going running towards you, run towards the other dog going, it's okay, I'm friendly, and start chasing it, and the dog goes, what the fuck's going on? In other words, run over to it like a madman.
Or that.
Yeah.
Or that.
Because the dog will go, what the fuck is wrong with that person? And that's it.
Yeah, I'm trying to have them start calm and collected.
Start chasing the other dog yourself.
You know what's going to happen now. You fucked it for everyone. You have fucked it. What's going to happen is now everybody's going to start chasing after dogs that run after the swim. They're going to go, I learned this at Southend dog training. We're now going to produce a fucking...
Disclaimer, don't do this. I done it.
Or if you do, make sure you film it because it'll be hilarious.
Yeah, I don't. We was on the pack walk once. When we're on our controlled pack walks, where we tend to, if any off-lead dogs come over towards the pack, because obviously they're quite reactive dogs, a lot of them. That's why they're out with us. You know, that's why they're with us. We will tend to perform a barrier, you know, just make sure the dog goes past us and there. One of them, the person couldn't call it back, so I started chasing the dog and it ran away. And I was like, there you go, that worked. And everyone else thought it was really funny. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, it does work, but imagine we've got 3 million followers, dude. You imagine if fucking 3 million people all went out later on and started fucking chasing.
As long as they filmed it, I'll be so happy.
Welcome to ITV News. The world seems to have gone batshit crazy. There's a bunch of humans chasing after dogs in a dog
it's
park.
okay, I'm friendly.
Well, I think I've got Southend dog training merch on. Speaking of merch, we do have a hoodie, t-shirt that does say, it's okay, they are friendly, it's just an excuse to have a poorly trained dog.
That's it.
Yeah.
And on that note,
yeah,
I think that's season 3, episode 1 over. We're going to try and do these at least once a month, if not more.
Yeah, well, I'd like to get more frequency in it. I'd also like to get some guests on and things like that, and get some more audience participation.
I want to get Ben on, our cameraman. He'll be very uncomfortable.
Yeah, so it's just make him uncomfortable. I'll just stroke him. That's probably why.
Yeah, that's all it is. He just gets a bit nervous.
Sitting between us. Hello, Ben. How you doing? Right. But no, the reality is I want to get the audience. We did start to do it before the series come to an end in season 2, but start answering your guys' questions, and go back to what we was doing, talking about the news, hot topics. I mean, hot topics this week seem to be fucking out of control, fucking dogs. That's going to be the hot topic every week, but also the book and
Yeah.
things like that. It was really just to have a little catch up with you guys, let us know that, let you guys know that we're still alive when it comes to podcasts, because they're still getting fucking regularly downloaded all the time. And
that blows my mind, yeah. I looked at it, last week we had 150 downloads, which isn't a massive, but considering we haven't done one for over a year, I thought that was pretty cool.
So it's time to start pushing the podcast again.
Yeah.
Also, we're trying to bring you a behind the scenes series coming up. You guys love when me and Evan go on our little field trips, when we do off-roading, when we fucking go on little adventures. So we're trying to bring an actual behind the scenes series so you can see what we get up to. So you'll even might be able to watch in some of those episodes us actually filming the podcast and actually seeing the cameras and everything like that. You'll get to see the trainers working with dogs, but also the boring stuff, the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, what it takes to run a fucking business, because it really isn't as straightforward as, hello, let's book you in, let's go to work.
It was very different when it was just me and you compared to having 21 staff.
Oh, massively. Like, some of the things you have to do, like making sure there's fire extinguishers accessible all the time, fire exit signs, accident books, fucking, my god. There is so much to it. It is such a headache. Plus, the biggest headache is obviously the more people you take on, the more perplexity is there for things to go wrong. But you have to sort of fucking open that door and trust. Like I said, I couldn't do this all by myself now. It's become too big.
No. What do you mean you don't answer all your messages and phone calls all yourself?
Yeah, I know.
How dare you?
Well, I try.
How dare you?
I try.
How dare you?
I try. Right, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, go onto Amazon right now. This is out today, How to Raise the Perfect Dog. It's great because even if you've got an older dog, there is a lot of the puppy stuff that people leave out that they don't realise is why the dog's misbehaving. If your dog's struggling to settle in the house, maybe it's because you didn't crate train the dog and teach it at bedtime. It's not too late to do that. If your dog, having accidents in the house, it's not too late to start a puppy training routine with them. It's available on Amazon now. Raw food's available on Amazon. This will be available across all fucking platforms.
Yeah, that's it. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care.
Bye.